welcome back. This is the radio guy, Dr. Mike Prince. I am fortunate to have on the line with me the head instructor, the dean of sports, none other than Coach Van Pettaway. How you doing this week, Coach?
Hey, I'm doing great this week. This has been an awesome week. God has given us a lot to be thankful for.
Absolutely, sir, and I'm total agreement with you on that one. And with that being said, it's time for our grades from last week's performance. And Dean of Sports, are you ready to pass out your grades this week, sir?
Right. My pencil is ready, so I'm ready to write down these grades. And I'm doing them I'm sorry, my ink is ready because we're not going to be able to change these grades once we put them down.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I'm ready to go. And we're going to just kind of pull them out randomly, and we'll go off with University of Arkansas at Pine Bluff. What's your letter grade for them on this past week's performance, sir?
Well, they had a 76-3 win on North America, and that made me do a little research. I found out that North America is located out of Houston, Texas, and they just became an NAI institution. They got an enrollment of about 500 people as their enrollment. Arkansas Pine Bluff has to get a D for this because they're playing a handicapped school. A school. When I say handicapped now, I'm talking about in terms of scholarships and athletes. So for my book, 76-3, they have to get a D. They played.
I gave them a D. I gave them a D minus. I almost gave them an F.
Yep.
But I gave them a D minus because one, this program is barely 2 years old as far as athletics are concerned, and it was just full discombobulation of it's not even varsity versus junior varsity. It was just it was like varsity versus a peewee league football team, and you expect that to happen. So I gave him a D minus. So we're in agreement with that. You know, we're going to next go to Alabama State. What was your letter grade for Alabama State, sir?
Well, Alabama State lost to UCLA 45-7. I'm going to give the Hornets a B because they showed up and they played. I'm giving them a B.
I gave them a C because they did score the 7 points, and I was glad to see that. Even though it was West Coast, we know there was a payday, and once they got on the scoreboard and they did show some fight. And it's going to, I think, be a different Alabama State team under Eddie Robinson Jr. So I gave him a C.
Okay.
So we will next jump to, let's go with Florida A&M, sir.
Florida A&M 23-13 over Albany State. I had an opportunity to watch some parts of that game, and I was very disappointed. So they're going to get a D for me. They jumped on the Division II. They could not put them away until the fourth quarter. So they're going to get a D from me.
That's my letter grade exactly. I was expecting more from the Rattlers. It seemed like there's something missing in Rattler Nation. Can't quite put my finger on it, but it seemed like there's a little bit of trouble in the camp, so I did give them a D for this past week's performance as well. Okay, we will gradually move on over to Mississippi Valley, sir. What was your letter grade for Mississippi Valley?
Mississippi Valley lost 41-0 to Austin Peay. That game was on the road, but Austin Peay is an FCS school, so I'm sorry for Coach, but he's going to have to get a D from me this week. And the only reason why he's getting a D is because I know that they're behind. I will never give them an F because I know that financially they're behind in the SWAC. So they're going to get a D from me this week because they did not score.
Yes, sir, absolutely. That was mine as well, a D for the similar factors. Valley is my underdog program in the conference, Coach, and a lot of people say I show them love like I'm an alumni of Mississippi Valley, but I really, really like the effort that they do put forth in spite of. And so, like you say, it's hard for me to root against them. So a D it shall be. And we're going to stay in the state of Mississippi.
But what you have to understand now, we are teachers and we're passing out grades, and most teachers have a teacher's pet. So we can adopt Mississippi Valley as our pet.
Okay, fair enough, sir. Fair enough. That's our teachers pick for the I guess for the season
Yes,
until
yes.
further notice, right? Until
Right,
further
right.
notice. Okay, we'll stay in the state of Mississippi and we'll go to the reservation with the Alcorn State Braves.
Well, Alcorn State lost to Tulane 52-0. They would definitely have to get a D from me because they did not score against Tulane. I don't view Tulane as being a top-notch football program. They're more of a basketball school. So their letter grade for me is a D.
Yes, sir. We're in that same page so far, sir. D is a letter grade I have for Alcorn as well, and we're gonna. Well, we'll stay. We'll close out the state of Mississippi, and let's go with Jackson State.
Okay, Jackson State 16-3 over Tennessee State. I thought that Jackson State would be more offensive minded in this game. They won the game, so they'll get a B from me. They don't get the A because I didn't think Tennessee State was that strong this year, and I wanted to see more points. So they get a B from me.
Well, I was a little pleased with Tennessee State's defense. I thought that they showed a little more strength than what I was anticipating. It was a good game, and I was kind of teeter-tottering with the B, C, so I went ahead with a B minus.
Okay.
You know, because like I said, they played well enough to win, and you can't say enough for the defensive play. But offense, even though they scored a touchdown, it was late. I just wanted to see a little bit more from the offensive side of things. So I gave them a B minus. Yes, sir. So we will go now and go to Louisiana, to the Grambling State Tigers.
Grambling State, 47-21 over Northwestern. That's a team out of the Southland. So Grambling gets an A. This game was played in Shreveport, so that's a neutral site game for both teams, even though it's like a home game for Grambling. But I give Grambling an A on this one, 47-21.
Yes, sir. I gave Grambling a B plus on this one, and I gave them a B plus because they really beat a Southland opponent, and I'm very stickler because we don't do well against the Southland. Even though Grambling's like 4-2 against Northwestern since they played their last 6 times, I still like the fact that they did it. The A, the reason I didn't give an A, I'm still looking for that G-man feel. You know, it was a time, of course, under Eddie Robinson, but even under Coach Fobbs, where you just said, oh, boy, here comes Grambling. And I'm not quite feeling it just yet, but I can feel that G train warming up, Coach. I can really feel it warming up. And hopefully it'll start getting warmer after October 1st, after they play my beloved Panthers. But that's a whole nother story.
Okay.
Oh, man. Okay, we'll stay in Louisiana and go to the Southern Jaguars.
Southern lost to LSU 65-17. I'm going to give for scoring on the SEC team and being in their backyard, I'm going to have to give them a C minus for effort. They did score, and they I think they made some of their fans feel proud.
Yes, sir. I gave them a B, Coach. And the reason I gave them a B because they did score 17 points.
Right.
They did play against the mighty SEC. They did play the big boys, LSU Tigers. And the fact that it was a road game, even though it was a home road game, playing in a hostile environment, and they showed some fight. They showed a little bit of character. And I gave them a B for this week's performance.
Okay.
Yeah. Bethune-Cookman, sir.
Bethune-Cookman, right now, we're going to have to get some toodles for Bethune-Cookman because they're not performing well. So they lost to South Carolina State 33-9.
Yes, sir.
Again, after MEAC versus the SWAC, and the MEAC came out on top. And,
yes,
and for that reason, this game was in Daytona Beach. They have to get a D from me.
Yes, sir. DHLB from his end as well. I'm to the point now, and I don't ever wish for anyone to lose their sense of living, but you got to think that Coach Sims might be looking over his shoulder right about now with the way the Wildcats are struggling out the gate. So let's hope that's not the case, and hopefully they can get things back on course. So we're working pretty good. Now we're going to come to the state of Texas, and let's get our letter grade for the Texas Southern Tigers.
Texas Southern lost to North Texas 59-27. That game was in Denton, Texas. I'm going to give Texas Southern a C- on this one because they did put up 27 points against North Texas. So they get a C from me.
C-, Coach.
Yeah, they got a C-
yes.
from me. Okay.
Yes, sir. Okay, yeah, I gave them a C.
Okay.
Like I said, they did score 27 points. It was an upgrade, and the fact that they showed a little promise on the ball field, they look pretty strong in the pass attack. And I said earlier at the start of the season that this Texas Southern team is going to get better. There's a disadvantage when you play a very important rival game at the opening of the season, and you're still trying to work out kinks, and they're going to be able to get better. So I gave them a C on that one. And since we're still at the test, I want to make sure that I got everybody. It doesn't matter. We're going to do it anyway. Yeah, we're going to go with Prairie View, Coach. And so I'm interested to hear your letter grade for Prairie View on this week.
Well, they lost 21-13 to Abilene Christian in Abilene, Texas. So to be honest, I'm gonna give the Panthers. I'm gonna give them a B on this game. They're on the road. They're playing another FCS team, but I think it's just tougher to play on the road at some of those places because they're not looking to let us out of there.
Absolutely, I gave them a C+, and I almost gave them a B plus 5.
Mm-hmm.
They dominated that game for 3 quarters. Dominated. They were forcing turnovers. It was the decision that was made to turn on the 4th down at the 18-yard line. The kicker has kicked 6 and a 47-yard field goal. Kick that field goal, give yourself a 9-point lead, and you add pressure to the home team. They elected to go for it, didn't make it. They turned around and scored and never looked back, scored 2 touchdowns. Prairie View ends up short. But when I talk about playing and executing their game plan, Coach,
mm-hmm.
I was mighty. I had my champagne on ice, Coach. Got into that 4th quarter, and I had to tell the waiter to take it back because we were going home losing. So I gave him a C+.
Okay, that's good. We're not that far off on these grades.
No, not at all. Not at all. Now I want to make sure I know your school left. Am I missing anybody, Coach? I want to make sure I didn't miss nobody.
No, I think Alabama A&M is the only one that's left.
Yeah, and I say since you're the dean, I said I'll let the dean save his best for last, and I'm ready to hear your grade, sir.
Well, they finally get a passing grade from me. They lost to Troy 38-17, and I'm going to go ahead and give them a B on this. A B- on this game because they did put up 17 points. It was only 10-3 at halftime, and they showed some fight, but we gave up 3 scores in the 3rd quarter. So that's why they had a B-. It almost was a C.
Yes, sir. I gave them a C.
Right.
So once again, we're right at it, and I like the way the grading is going on this because, and like I said, they are our opinions. Okay, they're our grades, but I think we're being pretty fair on how we're assessing these letter grades. Right. So because they, I always give a little curve for playing that give up. When I think of a Troy, no disrespect to Troy, I think they're a beatable program, and a program that we can be competitive in, and they were competitive in that. So those are our report cards for this week, and we'd love to hear what you guys think about that. Coach, before we shut down, You got any closing thoughts and comments for us this week, sir?
Right. I'm looking forward to the game next week between Jackson State and Grambling. That's going to be my sleeper game, the game that I'm going to keep an eye on for next week. That Grambling's going into Jackson, so I think that's going to be a big time game. And other than that, I just want to send out blessings to everyone. I want you to continue doing the job that you're doing in this media market and taking care of people and putting the message out there. And I'm just thankful to be a part of it.
Thank you, sir. We're very thankful. And Jackson was my game. I also want to pay close attention to that Texas Southern and Southern game in Arlington.
Right.
For whatever reason, Texas Southern has played Southern real close and real tight. And it wouldn't surprise me, and I don't know quite yet who I think would win, but I think that's going to be a very intense game. So we got our two sleepers, and we'll be ready for our plans for our letter grades on next week. Coach, thank you so much for joining in and being a part of this. We really, really appreciate it, and looking forward to the continuation of the season. He is the guru and the dean of sports, and let's say of Open Mic University. Coach Van Petalone. I am the radio guy, Dr. Mike Prince, reminding you that you can follow me on Twitter at The Mike Prince Show. Subscribe to the YouTube channel at the Open Mic Broadcast. Don't forget to visit obnradio.com. And until the next time, you guys be blessed, and we'll see you on the other side.